All right, we are going to take you to one of those places that just sounds cool the minute you say its name. The mere utterance of this country evokes all kinds of images in your head. Mystery, intrigue, romance, the kind of place one of the greatest movies of all time could be set. We're talking Casablanca. And the kind of place you could picture James Bond or Indiana Jones just roaming the streets.
So Tangier is known as the door to Africa. The geography of this place is absolutely amazing. And when you look out here, this is the point where the Mediterranean Sea meets the Atlantic Ocean.
Where waters collide, worlds collide too. A mishmash of cultures in a place that 8 different European countries and even the United States have laid claim to. Today, we are laying claim to it too. This rugged, romanticized desert oasis on the tip of Africa. So mount up your camels, grab hold of those reins, and hold on tight, because we are about to take over Tangier and show you the 5 things you gotta do when you visit this amazing, unforgettable city. Our day starts on an entirely different continent. As the sun rises over the Mediterranean, we catch a ferry in Tarifa, Spain, and head out over the choppy waters of the Strait of Gibraltar for a day of adventure in North Africa with our buddy and today's tour guide, Dom.
So we're just looking over the history of Tangier, and it's absolutely fascinating. This thing has been a Phoenician trading center. It has been under British rule. It has changed hands a ton of times. It was actually the first foreign piece of property acquired by the U.S. government as a gift to them.
Once we've crossed the sea, this is the first time we've ever set foot on African soil, and it marks the first thing you should do when you get here. Hire a local tour guide who knows the place.
We have 8 European community living in this area, the new part. Each community living in the quarter. Now we told him ex-European quarter. Now we're crossing the ex-Spanish quarter.
We looked out and found an awesome guy named Abdul, and we have a link to his tour in the description below. He spent his whole life here, knows the place like the back of his hand, and he gave us a driving tour, pointing out the history, geography, and culture of Tangier, and there is a lot of it. This city is built on a limestone hill with the old town, or Medina, at the top, surrounded by buildings, some of which date back to the 15th century. Few places have as crazy a history as Tangier, and we won't get into all of the details, but suffice it to say, its location as a fishing village and its proximity to Europe have made it desirable to pretty much every empire, imperialist, and land grabber for centuries. Our first stop is the next place you should visit when you come. It's called Cape Spartel, right at the entrance to the Strait of Gibraltar. They call it the northernmost spot in Africa, but it actually isn't. Doesn't really matter. The lighthouse there lords over the spot where 2 big, beautiful bodies of water become one, the Mediterranean and the Atlantic. On a clear day, you can see the Rock of Gibraltar, 8 miles across the Mediterranean, but this is not a clear day. Windy, sunless, cold, perfect weather to seek refuge. And we found the perfect place just right next door.
So right now we're in the cave of Hercules, and usually when you think about mythology, you think of ancient Greece, which everyone does, but places like Tangier, Gibraltar, they also have a very rich history when it comes to those ancient stories.
Spot number 3 to visit when you hit Tangier is the Caves of Hercules. Look at this silhouette. They say this shape in the cave opening actually mimics the map of Africa. I can kind of see it there. The caves are part natural, part man-made, 100% thrilling, with the cold ocean waves colliding at the cave door just feet away from you. Mythology has it that Hercules had to cross a nearby mountain, but instead of climbing it, he just used his brute strength to smash right through it, thus connecting the Atlantic and Mediterranean right in this very spot. Next up, it is a sin against Instagram if you come to Morocco and don't take a picture on top of a camel, so that's our next must-do.
So we're about to ride some camels here. Very well behaved. They do smell a little bit, but this is going to be quite the experience.
So Dom mounts up, I follow suit, Sean follows shortly behind that for a quick and malodorous jaunt atop these tall beasts of burden.
It's good. I'm just holding on for dear life.
Now, this truly is a roadside attraction. These brief rides essentially happen on the shoulder of the road and last all of about 60 seconds, but long enough for us to get those pictures to prove that we were here. Then it's off on a walking tour of the Souk, or market, in Old Tangier. This is the fifth and final must-do here in this part of Morocco. The Grand Sako separates the old town from the new town. Lined with shops and cafes, you're going to find the best smells, the best tastes, and the best bargains in this part of town. These are Tangier's oldest shops and the best place to experience what it's like to live local.
This is a camel wool.
Scarves, blankets, bed covers, Tangier's well known for its textiles, and this is where to find them. Now, this clerk tells us the scarves are 20 euros, but are they really?
How many scarves you need? 1, 2?
Well, I like this one, but 20 is a little much for me.
Excuse me, on the 2-day first customers, Fridays, maybe buy 2 and 3, and show you a little bit discount. Yeah, no problem.
Part of the beauty of coming here is haggling, and it works.
What we've been told is the rule of thumb is to never pay full price. Cut whatever price they say in half and go from there. So if it says 10, go 5. Try and work out a deal somewhere around there. But what we're told is never pay full price.
These days, it is hard to find a tourist attraction that is reasonably priced, but believe it or not, this souk is one of them.
Can we buy some olives? What kind do you recommend?
This. If you want.
We decided to pick up some of the local produce, and with just €1 to spend, we had plenty of snacks to go around.
What do you think of the market?
I thought it was great. What we did is we got some olives. This is a mixed bag. They have so many different varieties here, and our guide said you can't really go wrong with whatever you eat. So we got the mixed bag, and we're gonna tear into these here in just a little bit.
We had just one day in Tangier, but we could have spent weeks here exploring, soaking up the culture, pretending we were Indiana Jones or James Bond, but our time here was up. We ended with the perfect touch, afternoon prayers being blasted out over speakers throughout Old Town Tangier. If that doesn't drive home how mysterious and intriguing and romantic this place is.
You see the door? Yeah. Into the door we have the old part of the city. Over there, on the right side, the new part.
Then you better stop watching YouTube and go rent Casablanca right this very minute. Here's looking at you, kid.